And later, it's a Fox News at Night exclusive. We ride along with U.S. Marshals on their operation to make America safer. You'll only see it here. Stay tuned.
That's right. Your neighbors, your lawyer.
Well, the Supreme Court hearing one of its most controversial cases of the entire term today. President Trump's travel ban. And of course, there was plenty of discussion of the president's past statements. The high court appears to be split along ideological lines. A lot of eyes on Justice Kennedy. Could he be the swing vote again? Well, we'll be watching for a decision by late June. In the meantime, let's break it down. Talk about it with Harry Litman, former U.S. attorney, and constitutional attorney Robert Barnes. Great to have both of you with us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, now, Harry, you have spent time over there as a clerk to more than one justice. You've also co-clerked with Justice Kagan, who now sits on the high court. What did you make of what we heard from the bench today, Harry?
Well, look, it was a hot bench. I tend to agree with your observation, Shannon, that it looked as if Justice Kennedy was going to vote to uphold the ban, and possibly even a couple more. It might be as much as 7-2. But the real, as you say, the real sort of 900-pound gorilla in the room were these former comments of the president when he was campaigning, and that gave the government attorney some trouble. But what the attorney said is, look, even if in his heart of hearts President Trump was motivated by animus against Muslims, you should still uphold the ban out of deference to the executive. And my best guess is that principle is going to prevail.
Well, and you know, it all goes back to this question of whether there is religious discrimination afoot in putting together this ban. Critics say that it is aimed at Muslims, and yet, you know, the current ban now has North Korea and Venezuela, obviously not majority Muslim nations. This is what Justice Alito had to say. Nice to have the same-day audio. Here's his take on whether or not this is a Muslim ban.
Mr. Katz, so would any reasonable observer reading this proclamation, without taking into account statements, think that this was a Muslim ban? I mean, I think there are 50 predominantly Muslim countries in the world. Five predominantly Muslim countries are on this list. The population of the predominantly Muslim countries on this list make up about 8% of the world's Muslim population. If you looked at the 10 countries with the most Muslims, exactly one, Iran, would be on that list of the top 10. So would a reasonable observer think this was a Muslim ban?
If it were. All right. Robert, I send that to you. Is that going to be a strong enough argument to get 5 votes at least together to uphold this thing?
Well, I think definitely. I think the first part of the challenge is there's really no First Amendment basis that foreign aliens have any First Amendment constitutional rights, and there's never been any precedent that says the exclusion of foreign aliens constitutes the establishment of religion under the First Amendment anyway. But putting that aside, the reality here is, as the Solicitor General said before the court today, if this was a Muslim ban, it was terribly drafted. It doesn't reference Muslims. It's not based on Muslims. It was based on an objective standard applied worldwide by multiple agencies and approved by multiple cabinet officials, where 92% of Muslims are not banned, where the countries that are banned include countries that are not majority Muslim countries, such as Venezuela and North Korea, countries that simply do not have the means to assure us that their methods of issuing passports can provide security and safety to the American people. So even if the First Amendment did apply, and when it's dubious that it does, this was not a violation of that First Amendment at all.
All right, I want to play a little bit of what the newest Justice Gorsuch, had to say today about the side issue of, in any of these cases, a single district court judge can shut something down by issuing an injunction that is acting nationwide. They can shut down a whole federal law or policy, and then get reaction from both of you. Here's Justice Gorsuch.
We have this troubling rise of this nationwide injunction, cosmic injunction, not limited to relief for the parties at issue or even a class action. And near as I can tell, that's a really new development where a district court asserts the right to strike down a federal statute with regard to anybody, anywhere in the world. What do we do about that?
Harry, to you first and quickly so we can get reaction from both. What do we do about that?
Sure. I'm not sure what he means that it's new. That's always been the ability of a district court if the ban is that broad. And on the other point of Robert, I do think it would be clearly a violation if you could show it was against Muslims. But Alito said, let's keep the questions out of it. I think it will prevail even given the possible animus.
Okay, and Robert, what do you think about this issue that Justice Gorsuch brought up. It's kind of a side issue in this case, but a number of people are now raising the alarm over the ability of one lower court judge to do it. Does it encourage parties to forum shop in places like the Ninth Circuit that they know will probably be hostile to some of this president's policies?
Oh, precisely. The Supreme Court previously, in 1993, when the district court tried to issue a nationwide ban related to gays in the military, said it was completely inappropriate for a district court to usurp that authority. Their authority is over their jurisdiction, not the entire world. If you believe the liberals in this case, Hillary was sponsoring honeymoon tours for liberals to Libya. The president has specifically identified security and safety risks, and it wasn't a district court judge's in Hawaii job to usurp that obligation that's uniquely the president's to keep the country safe.
Robert, you made Harry laugh with that last line about the Libyan honeymoons.
No, it was just the Hillary. It's always Hillary. But
right.
thanks for
All right,
having
well, we'll
us.
leave it there. We'll wait and see what we get come June when we expect to get this decision. Harry and Robert, thank you both for lending us your expertise.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you, ma'am.